Everybody, whether you're the president of a company or the paperboy, everybody has the exact same amount of time. You and I both have 24 hours a day. No more, no less. The question is, what do you do with your time?
Real quick, my friends, go to zbooks.co and get my new book. It's called The Power to Publish. It's at the top of the page at the link My New Book. And it's going to help you publish your books. Okay, back to that podcast. Welcome to ZBook Successful Authors Podcast. And today I have the real Machiavelli, the mastermind of Amazon ads, the man behind the scenes, the man you probably haven't heard of yet. His name is Brian Berni. He's in Italy. And welcome to the podcast, Brian.
Thank you, Eric. It's a great honor to be here. And hello, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's lovely to finally have some Euro fans and some local matadors here. I'm in Germany. So we're actually on the same time frame, you know?
Yes, and it's a surprise for me as well because I'm working a lot with folks in America and I live in Italy, so it's a refreshing change.
Yeah, it's a challenge, isn't it? Most of the people that I want to talk to are in America, you know, and all of the summits and stuff. And but let's talk about you for a little minute. Tell us about. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but you recently hosted an indie novelist summit.
Yeah, actually, that is a good segue, actually, because when I hosted the summit and I recorded the interviews just before, there has been a lot of organization work going on because I had to interview people from nearly all around the world. So going back to the time zone problem, that has been a challenge. but yeah, it happened last year in October. It was to my knowledge, the first the first virtual summit, virtual conference for independent novelists, so fiction authors. And it was a great success. We had over 3,000 people participate and over 30 speakers.
3,000 people.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
And I've had good feedback from the attendees, and we're probably going to repeat it again this year. Haven't decided on a date yet, but probably May or June. So yeah.
And this is at indienovelistsummit.com.
Exactly. Yeah, there's currently a wait list there that you can sign up to get notified when we'll have the official dates for the next one. Yeah.
Cool. And is it going to be fiction-centric again?
Yes, it's going to be fiction because, I don't know, I feel like the non-fiction space and the book marketing space in general has already been tackled a lot with virtual summits. So I wanted to bring something different to the table. So yeah, I'm going to focus on fiction again.
Cool. And are you going to have big guns like Tom Marcus and helping you and stuff again?
Yeah, I've worked with Tom on the summit last October, and I really want to have some very big names this time, both helping me with the organization and also as guests, as interviewees. Because, like I said, last summit was a great success, and this one is hopefully going to be even better. So, so yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so indienovelistsummit.com.
Yes,
I
exactly.
will definitely keep an eye on that. And yeah, so before I have to talk about Machiavelli because you're in Italy, and I'm just going to read a little from your bio. It says, I'm 34 and have spent most of my life in academia. I have 2 degrees, one in Italian literature, the other in medieval history, hence Machiavelli,
Yes,
and you worked in the Vatican. Tell us about that.
that's right. Yes, exactly.
So did you
I
find the
actually,
Illuminati and the lost scrolls and all that stuff?
well, I'd actually have to kill you if I told you. So
Of course.
I'm not going to reveal anything. But no, really, this job came after my degree, and I specialize in medieval manuscripts. So I was employed in the Vatican as a researcher and a translator, focusing on medieval stuff. So books in general have always been a passion of mine from a very young age, and then I turned it into my academic career, and now into my self-publishing career, basically.
Cool.
So I've been around books all my life, and I hope I am going to be for a long time to come.
Yeah. So, what can you tell us then about working in there? Did you find any juicy secrets, or, well, okay, you can't tell us any secrets, can you?
Well, no, not really. Actually, I was hoping I would find something really interesting. But my job was mainly translating medieval documents from Latin into English or Italian. So I spent nearly, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours a day in front of a computer and with the manuscript by my side, and I had to transcribe and translate. So it was an interesting experience. It was very stimulating from both an intellectual and artistic point of view, because obviously you are in a place that's so full of art, so full of history. But then I moved on after that, and but I really enjoyed my time at the Vatican. Yeah, sure.
But 10, 12 hours a day in front of the computer, I mean, did your eyes burn out?
Yes, they suffered a lot.
What about Machiavelli?
Probably my eyesight has gotten worse.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I cut you off again. What about Machiavelli? Did you translate any of his stuff?
No, but we had a lot of stuff by Galileo. A lot by Michelangelo. So yeah, actually, when I was there was a big exhibition that was celebrating the archive's 500 years. And basically we organized this exhibition displaying the best documents and books that are held at the moment in the Vatican. So we've had stuff from the Queen Marie Antoinette, and like I said, Galileo, Michelangelo. So
did you unearth anything juicy about Galileo?
Not really, actually. They used to be very against Galileo in the past, but now they kind of revisiting his history a lot, and they've got a good opinion about him now.
Yeah, he was. It's interesting. He was a minority of one or maybe two people, and he was going against the consensus, right? But he was right.
Yes.
You know, who was the Medici? Who was the guy that was against Tycho Brahe worldview? But then who was it wasn't the Pope. It was, who was he against that he had to, Yeah,
it was really the Inquisition, the tribunal of the church.
Yeah, but there was a name of the guy leading the Inquisition.
Cardinal Bellarmine, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the main man at the Inquisition. Yeah,
and he wanted to kill Galileo.
Yeah.
Nice. Tell the truth and get killed. Huh?
Yes.
Wow. That. And how long did you work in the Vatican?
I was there for 7 years, I believe, more or less. Yeah.
Interesting. So, and you also write yourself. You don't have to give up your pen name, but what do you write about?
I primarily write nonfiction under various pen names, But at the moment, I'm in the process of writing a novel under my real name, so Brian Berni,
Okay.
and it's going to be in the Dan Brown kind of genre, and taking a bit of inspiration from my time at the Vatican. So
You have a title yet?
that genre. No, I'm playing with a few titles, but I haven't decided yet. It's going to be a thriller with a lot of traveling and a lot of action, with ancient relics and mysteries and manuscripts, that sort of thing.
That's cool. Well, Dan Brown did a good job at it. So, and you're from well, not from the Vatican, but you worked there, so you've got the authority, you know?
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be received well.
So that's my next question. So I started in nonfiction too. As a matter of fact, I'm still there actually. And I also had I started in 2014. I did some business courses that were less related to books. So, but that's how I got onto this validation thing, you know, how to write to market. So do you have a system or method to validate your market, or to make sure that you're writing a book that's worth writing and that's going to sell later? How do you enter a market or validate your book topic?
It's very different between fiction and nonfiction. I mean, what I've done up to now in the nonfiction area is probably a bit easier than fiction, because fortunately for nonfiction, it's very much black or white. So either a market is, I wouldn't say profitable, but either market is popular or it isn't. So if people are looking for it on Amazon and on the other retailers, it's pretty easy to understand whether or not a specific topic has been written about, or if it's something that people are hungry for. And we were, just before our interview, we were talking about some of the tools that fortunately we have at our disposal these days. And one of them is obviously KDP Rocket, which has changed the game for a lot of authors in recent years. So with those tools and a bit of deeper analysis, it's easier in nonfiction. But with fiction, I'm finding that I like to try and accommodate what the readers want. So basically writing to market, like you said, but I'm also trying to, I wouldn't reinvent the wheel, because it would be stupid, because people are looking for tropes and are looking for the each story has got to have the very same more or less elements to please a reader. So I'm trying to go in a bit in between, writing to market, but also giving a bit of a unique twist to what I do.
Right. So basically in fiction, you just find the big market, right? Like science fiction or cyberpunk or whatever. Or
I mean, it's there's a general big market that you kind of begin with. So I would like to, I think I'd like to write in the romance genre, in the thriller genre, in the sci-fi genre, and then you actually dig a bit deeper. And fortunately, again, we've got tools at our disposal these days, like I said, KDP Rocket, but also I don't know if you're familiar with the reports from Klytx.
Yes.
Again from your fellow German Alex Newton. I mean, it's very easy nowadays, but also tricky. So the competition is growing a lot, and the space is getting more crowded. But I think it's still one of the best times in history to be an author, definitely.
Before I forget, do you use KD Spy?
Yes, I've used it. Yeah, and I know some people say the two tools like KDP Rocket and KD Spy, one excludes the other, but I think they kind of complement each other.
Yeah, I use Katie Spy.
Because Katie Spy gives you it gives you more insights when it comes to the category level. Whereas KDP Rocket gives you more insights when it comes to keywords and competition.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you use Katie Spy for? More the category research.
Yeah, the category research I think is a bit better in KD Spy, and the possibility it gives you to have a view of the category all at once. At a glance, you can see if a category has got books that are popular, that are not popular, that have a lot of reviews, the general trends when it comes to the price. So I think it's better in that sense.
Yeah, that's what I tell my friends and fellow authors. Get both. They're not expensive, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, Klytx he's also, he has a monthly report showing the actual sales for each genre, right?
Yeah, definitely. He's got various reports. One is a free report that you can watch. It's a bit like a webinar on a monthly basis, and he talks about the general trends in the Amazon marketplace. And then he's got specific reports for specific genres. So, for example, I write a thriller, so I would buy, because these specific reports are for sale, I would buy a report on thrillers, and he really digs deep into the subcategories of the genre, and he tells you if the trend is going upwards or downwards, or how in general the books are behaving.
That sounds like a secret weapon.
Yeah, it is a kind of a secret weapon. I mean, a lot of authors cringe when they say, when they see other authors writing to market or writing to trends, and they say, you're things like you're selling your soul, you're not writing, you're not writing what's in, what your heart is telling you to. But it goes back to what Joanna Penn has always defined as your definition of success. Do you want to make money with this? Do you want to publish a book because you want to hold it in your hand and show your friends? So if you want to actually make money at this and you want it to be your career, I think you would be naive if you thought that you could actually write whatever is on your mind and that the whole world is going to listen. You need to write to trend, to a certain extent.
You said it. Don't reinvent the wheel. I had great luck to have one of the very first people on my podcast was Michael Shreve, and he was really dominating the fiction market at the time. And he said, it's not magic. It's not magic. Yeah. Writing is not magic. And he went on about that, how he had a teacher that, kind of said what you just said. Oh, you're selling your soul to the devil. And no. It's not magic. You got to write to the market. Don't reinvent the wheel, and because people are expecting certain things, and every genre has certain hooks and beats, and and you got to hit those beats. Are you familiar with the story grid template and
Sure.
and all that stuff? Do you use one? Do you have a template or a hero's journey or something like that?
Yeah, I like the story grid template actually, but what I find it more useful for is for revising rather than it be in the template before you write, because I am a big outliner myself, so I don't write into the dark. I prefer to outline before I even start the first word. I find the story grid to be more beneficial when you're revising. I kind of follow a few different tactics from a few books I've learned from. For example, I don't know if you're familiar with Libby Hawker, and also C.S. Lakin,
Oh
and
yeah, I just interviewed her. She's got a bunch of cool free.
yeah, of course, and K.M. Weiland as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Kim Weiland's book, Story Arcs. Do you use her Story
Exactly.
Arcs book?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
definitely.
Which one?
Um,
I'm going to test you.
I don't kind of do, like I said, I don't do everything, as the book says.
Right. Of course not.
I kind of combine that with Libby Hawker, Take Off Your Pants and Write. And, I try to do a bit of mixture to what suits my writing style best.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How do you spell Libby Hawker's name? And it's Take Off Your Pants and Write?
Yes.
Cool.
Take
Okay.
off your pants. Yeah,
That's right.
because basically I don't know if you're familiar with the distinction between plotters
Oh
and
yes, yes, yes.
pantsers. Yeah.
Of course. Plotters and
So
no, outliners and pantsers.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a play on the words pantser. So take off your pants and outline basically.
Check that.
And it's been one of the most influential books for me when it comes to outlining. And
Mhm.
Libby, as a writer, has been really, really successful. I think her last book was actually reached #1 in the Kindle store, and I mean the whole of the Kindle store.
Really? #1 in Amazon?
Yeah, #1 in Amazon.
Wow. That's better than the New York Times.
Yes, and she's very, humble. I'm friends with her in Facebook, and I could see her celebrating and a little bit of bragging, but not, I would be everywhere if I would post everywhere if I reached #1 in Amazon. But she's a really good author and a really good teacher in general.
Does she have a website?
Yeah, I think it's libbyhawker.com. I'm not sure if she still does a lot of nonfiction teaching and how-to writing, but her book Take Off Your Pants is still probably one of the best when it comes to
Yeah.
to outlining and
Oh,
plotting.
that's excellent. I'm looking her up right now. She's in Idaho, and I used to be in Idaho too, so I'm going to have to invite her on my podcast. All right.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Back to you, my friend. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's get on those Amazon ads. You know what bothers me the most about Amazon ads is the law of diminishing returns, or some people call it audience exhaustion. So, what was it, 2016 when they were new? Man, all of my ads were working. I mean, it was just so easy. And so for one book of mine, I got it back up to #1 in the category too, and it was a kind of tough category. And so it was awesome. And then 2017 comes around, and your keywords don't work forever. The same keywords don't work forever. So I found I had to take like a 3-month rest and then do it again. And then, everything, it never works as good as the last time. So how do you battle audience exhaustion?
So just going back a little bit, I am the co-founder of a company that specializes in Amazon ads and book ads with Matt Stone.
Right.
And the company is called Bookads.co. Well, anyway, Book Ads.
Yep.
And we've been working with authors for 3 years now, and we were one of the first agencies to help authors with their Amazon ads. But going back to your question, I have seen quite a few campaigns, and I tried to sum up all the campaigns I've done recently, and I've probably managed and launched over 10,000 campaigns, I think,
Wow.
for
Yeah.
various authors. And the number one problem that every author has when they have a bit of more experience with Amazon ads is, like you said, audience exhaustion and also scaling those ads. Having a system to follow that can take you to, take what you do to the next level, because ads are the way to go now. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people will not agree with this, and it's a bit controversial, but in my opinion, Amazon is going the pay to play, if you see what I mean, route.
Oh yeah.
Because we've seen that recently when they got rid of the also boughts on some book pages, and in general the organic reach has diminished a lot. So I think it's something that authors at least need to have a basic knowledge of these days. So when authors approach the ads, they may have, a couple of campaigns that go well, or I don't know, even 10 campaigns go well. But the next thing is, how do I do more of this, and how do I excel in my category, and how do I make my books even more seen by readers? And one of the biggest things is actual scaling, and it has been one of the biggest problems for us as well, because authors come to us in looking for solutions and looking for for magic tricks, but we don't have magic tricks. We only have experience, and we know what works best for different genres, and also for fiction versus non-fiction. And in general, it's hard for everyone. It's hard for us who we do it as our job, but it's hard for the beginner advertiser as well.
So how do you scale the Amazon ads?
Well, there are various tactics. It gets a bit technical, but in general terms, if you've got a campaign that is going well, and the first thing you and I know another big author.
Sorry, Bernie, we got cut off there.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right when you started talking, my Wi-Fi cut out and back in, but we're still on the call, so at least we're still here. And so I said, "How do you scale Amazon ads?" And you started talking, and so could you return?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's a bit technical, but there are various tactics that we found are beneficial. The one is rather than increasing the daily budget that you have in a single campaign, and for example, having one campaign spend $100, which is very hard in Amazon ads, we rather have 10 campaigns spending $10 each, which is much more attainable. So that's one of the tactics. Another tactic is what I call the best of campaign, or the greatest hits. Basically, it's the how do you say, the we'll cut this.
The top dog?
Not the theory behind this is that basically you try to spread yourself as thin as possible. So you try to throw as many spaghetti as you can at the wall when it comes to keywords. And then in all the various campaigns, you cherry pick the very best keywords in each campaign, and you create a brand new campaign that is made up of only the best keywords from your previous campaigns. And generally that has been working quite well for us. So that's why I call it the greatest hits. It's because it takes the keywords from the campaigns that have worked well previously, and it throws all the energy into one superstar campaign, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's really down to each single book. Unfortunately, there's no magic trick or one size fits all solution. It really depends on a lot of factors that change from one book to the other.
Interesting. Yeah, well, those are some very good tips. Thank you very much.
No problem.
The last one you taught, I called it, benchmarking your keywords. I was kind of thinking of that already. And so there's one question that I forgot where I heard it, but I heard that if you're sending traffic over somewhere else, like Facebook or Pinterest, anywhere else, to your book in Amazon, and it's not converting well, that Amazon's A9 algorithm will see that and then punish your book and put it down in the rankings. So never send traffic to, directly, or cold traffic to your book in Amazon now.
Yes.
Yes,
we've seen that. Yes, we've seen that as well, and we're actually more or less certain that that is the case, because Amazon is basically behaving a bit like Google does. Because, for example, if you type something in Google and, for example, 10 people type the same query, so I don't know, how to tie a tie.
Yeah.
And
that's a real book.
Yes, exactly. If 10 people type that in Google and all of the people skip the first two links and click on the third one, then Google is going to see that and is going to take that into account. And probably the next time you check Google, that link is going to be up top, is going to be number one. And we really think that Amazon is more or less behaving the same way. So what we've experienced is that there is a correlation between the actual traffic coming to a page and the actual conversion rate of that Amazon page when it comes to the algorithm. So a lot of people come into a page, how many of those people are clicking on the page and how many of those people are buying the book. So like you said, it gets penalized. A book could get penalized if there's a big discrepancy between the number of people that land on that page and the number of people who actually end up buying the book.
Okay. Yeah, so that I don't think I'm going to send any more traffic, or at least not cold traffic. Never cold traffic, because that's just hit and miss. Then you're experimenting then with your beloved book. So I guess that's not the place to experiment. I've got this one. I don't know if you can help me with it, but I ran an ad. I think I just recently turned it off. And I've got one click. I spent 17 cents. So CPC, cost per click, 17 cents. One order, and sales $143.76. And the ACO is, of course, 0.12%. So
expensive book.
Yeah, exactly. So I sent a help ticket to Amazon. They've sent me 2 emails back already. We're working on your case. And then they put the link at the bottom of the email. Did we solve your problem? No. And so have you ever seen anything like that? Do you know what's going on there?
Oh, definitely. I've also seen authors who have had sales with 0 clicks.
that is, what the heck is going on?
That's the reporting for you, unfortunately, because the dashboard has always been very, very unreliable, and it has been changed in the past month or so, but it's still not up to scratch and not at the level that it is in Facebook, for example. But the problem there is that Amazon, when someone clicks on your ad, they might go on and buy, for example, the audiobook of the audiobook version of your book, or they might go on and buy the paperback version, then they might go on and buy another book. And sometimes these, reflection sales, so these sales that have come after your book page, are factored in your dashboard and show up as sales for you. And Amazon has actually really said, plainly and openly declared that sometimes that happens. So the sales figures in the dashboard show sales that have come from your ad but are not directly correlated with your book, if you see what I mean.
I would love to have them, though. One click and $143. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, of course, but obviously that's not reflected in real life, if you see what I mean. So what we recommend is to always cross-check between the Amazon dashboard and your KDP dashboard, because that's where the real data is, and the real, the real figures, you can see them there.
So have you also noticed, if I pause the ad, some things can go down, like even the sales. Some, like the latest sale will disappear. Some of the impressions will go down too. Like, oh, they took the impressions away, and all you did was pause the ad. Holy cow.
Yeah, and sometimes that's another problem, is the delay with which the data shows up in the dashboard, because sometimes you have campaigns that are not performing, where you think the campaign is not performing well, and you pause it or you terminate it, which is never recommended, but some people terminate. And then after 2 days, you go back and you see that that campaign was actually making sales, and they were just slow showing up in the dashboard. So you'd want to turn them back on, but sometimes when you do that, the ad stops getting impressions, or the ad dies completely. So that's another problem. And I've actually never completely understood why the reporting is so bad, because we're not talking about a small company here. I mean, we're talking about Amazon.
I'm wondering if it's because they're waiting for returns, so they want to really make sure that it's sold before they, I have no idea either, actually, but.
I don't know, because I've spoken to people who use the Amazon advertising platform for physical products. So I've got a friend who sells T-shirts on Amazon, and he said that the reporting for them is absolutely fantastic. So I don't know why it's so bad with books and the KDP platform, because again, I can't possibly think that Amazon is not investing in the book side of business, because that's what they were born for, and that's what runs, I suppose, 90% of their business. So
I suppose we'll have to make Amazon vendor accounts or FBA accounts to get good ads dashboard or whatever, because there's still 3 different versions, isn't there? They changed their name, but there's still 3 different levels. You can be a vendor or a book author, and they're totally
Advantage as well.
A what?
Yeah.
What was that? Advantage.
Amazon Advantage. Yeah.
What was that?
That's another type of account you can use and run ads from, and it's for people who sell. I believe, I've never used it myself, but I believe for people who sell in bulk. So people who actually have stock of books, in this case, of their own. So they don't use fulfillment by Amazon, but they have stocks of their own, and they can use this type of advertising. And it also gives you a couple more ad placements compared to the regular Amazon ads. I'm not sure, because I've never used it myself. So.
Interesting. Have you noticed in some of the emails you get from Amazon that there's a banner ad at the top for books?
Yes.
Do you know how to get in there? Because I wrote them a letter with a screenshot and said, I want to place an ad there, and they wouldn't answer. They said, you gotta, they just totally skirted the question.
Yeah, that's because those ads are really destined and basically exclusive for Amazon imprints, I've seen. So, for example, Amazon has got all of these imprints, and they've got basically small publishing houses that behave like traditional publishing houses, but they are Amazon. And one of them is, for example, is called Thomas and Mercer.
I've heard of them, yeah.
And yeah, Thomas and Mercer is the thriller side of Amazon publishing. And if you are lucky enough to get a contract with Thomas and Mercer, then you get all these new ad placements. For example, sometimes you can also see them to the bottom right of the cover on a book page. I don't know if you've noticed, sometimes it says Thomas and Mercer Publishing recommends, and then there's an ad there for a book. So it's for traditional publishers and also mainly for Amazon imprints.
Interesting, because I think it was a Disney book, so I thought it was okay, just the big guns with big money can get up there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Traditional and Amazon imprints.
How do you spell Thomas and Mercer?
Thomas, as in Thomas Cromwell, and Mercer, Mercer. Mercer.
Yeah, because they also have, what is it called? Kindle Worlds, and then their own awards and stuff. Kindle, what was that other one where you Kindle exclusive, where you write your book and first publish it through them, and then if you win, then they will take you up in their company. And Thomas and Mercer is one of them.
Exactly. Exactly. And they've got a lot of they test a lot of new platforms and new programs, and some of them some of them have better luck than other ones. For example, Kindle Singles, I think, was recently discontinued because people didn't really, it didn't really catch on. And also Kindle Worlds,
right?
Where people could write. For example, if I'm a fan of Harry Potter, I could write a book in Kindle Worlds based in the Harry Potter world. But that as well was not that well received. So there's a lot of things that you can do if you get into Amazon's good graces, then you've got a lot of opportunity, that's for sure.
Yeah. So back to the Amazon ads. How do you know when to stop your ad? Do you have any key performance indicator or any rule of thumb when to stop an ad? So in general, the fundamental rule is never judge the dashboard, never judge an ad by the dashboard, like we said before. So that is the main rule. But apart from that, I also like to look at a bigger picture. I mean, I'm not only looking at sales per se. So I am looking at the ad as a possible vehicle of impressions. So a vehicle of showing my book to a lot of people. So if that ad is getting a lot of impressions but not many sales, I'm not sure I would pause it or terminate it. And then also you need to look at the bigger picture in the sense that if you have a series, then that's that single individual ad might not be profitable at the moment. But if you factor in the sell-through or the read-through to your series following books, then that ad might be beneficial. So there's a few calculations that need to go on, behind the scenes. But in general, I'm quite hesitant with stopping ads. I mean, if I see that an ad is spending, incredible amounts of money and I'm making zero and then it's getting zero impressions, then I would probably stop it. But if it's spending money, it means people are clicking on it, because otherwise, it's a cost per click platform. So if people are clicking on my ads, then there is something there. They are enticed by something. They want to click for some reason. So I would rather go in and tweak the ad and try and find out what's compelled them to click rather than turning it off. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. for that.
No problem.
So I'm looking at your bookads.co page. Very impressive. So I do want to ask you a little bit because the screenshots are magnificent. I mean, the one guy's $40,000 of his book directly from AMS ads. And
Yeah.
so, but not everybody can, you don't take anybody. So what are you looking for when somebody wants to come to you, bookads.co, and apply? So which books will make it and which won't?
So in general, there's a little backstory here. When we started the agency, we basically welcomed everyone. So you could just sign, press a button, make a payment, and you would be in the agency and we would take care of your ads. But what we soon discovered was that we could not help everyone because no matter how hard we marketed some books, they were just not, they didn't have the fundamentals in place. So not a good cover, not a good description, not enough reviews. So like I said, no matter what we did, we could not help those authors. And we didn't want to waste people's money because obviously it didn't feel right. And obviously at the same time, we wanted success with the agency and we simply couldn't accept everyone. So we did a lot of testing and a lot of pain and hours spent in front of the Amazon dashboard, and we came to the conclusion that a book needs to at least be around the 30,000-ish bestseller ranking, or lower, or better, for us to be able to give it a hand. And it's not because we don't want to help everyone, because obviously we would like to help everyone, but it's because it's simply, we found that it simply doesn't work. I mean, if a book is already doing okay, then the Amazon ads can take it to the next level. And I know it's counterintuitive because obviously someone would like to use ads to revive the sales for something that is not selling. That that's the principle behind advertising. But what we found is that Amazon ads are more like a tool to take things to the next level rather than a tool that can give you a few sales here and there, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, to revive a dead book.
Yes, to revive a dead book, exactly.
So how many reviews are you looking for?
We generally try to shoot for around 20 to start with, but the more the better, obviously. And obviously they have to be good reviews, because if you think about it, the three things that you see in an ad are the cover, the number of reviews, and the short copy that you have on the ad. So, it's 1/3 of the success of an ad is the reviews. So they're really important.
Yeah. 1/3 is from the reviews, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that is a deep subject. So
Very.
Let's touch a little bit on the product placement ads. I haven't had much luck with those at all. When you target another author or another book, have you guys had any luck with that?
Do you mean the product display ads?
Yeah, where you can, well, I don't know do they even have them anymore, where you can put your book directly?
No, exactly. No, they were actually discontinued. So Amazon announced when they rolled out the new dashboard, they announced that they were going to get rid of the product display ads, and they were actually stopped on the 5th of February, 2019, for those who listen in the future. And basically what they did is they substituted that type of ad with a new type that is called the lock screen ad. And these ads are basically ads that you can show to people when they unlock their Kindle. So I don't know if you own a Kindle device, but
of course.
various Kindle devices, including the Fire tablets, when when they are in sleep mode, basically, and you wake them up, they often display an ad. So that is actually an AMS ad. So that is the new type of ad that they have rolled out, and it's called the lock screen ad. So they're still testing we are still testing the waters with that, because they're fairly new platform, like I said. But when you think of it, it's really, really important type of ad, because taking the whole screen of a Kindle with your cover, with your book, is really important. So in general, they're more expensive than your regular sponsored product ads, but theoretically they are also more effective.
When I first started, I think there was something similar called interest-based ads, and that was my first ad, and it was the most profitable right off the bat. It was just so easy. It was ridiculous in 2016, and
the good old days.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think that might have been the one that shot my book straight up to #1 in category, and then and it never worked again. Never had that kind of success again, because you can only choose so many interests. There are only so many interests or categories in Amazon. So
definitely.
Yeah. So what about I tried Bookbub ads once and didn't like them at all. You have CPM and CPC, and they reminded me more of Google ads or AdWords. I don't remember, AdSense or AdWords. And so never liked those either. So what's your experience with Bookbub ads?
I mean, they are the new kids on the block, basically, because it's the newest platform for authors, and it's a bit of an in-between platform between Facebook and Amazon, in the sense that it has some features that were good on Facebook, on Bookbub as well. Some features that are good on Amazon have made it to Bookbub as well. But in general, it's a platform that we found have more success with fiction books rather than non-fiction, because the Bookbub mailing list is, I don't know how many millions of people are on that list now, but it's very, very geared towards fiction readers, and it gets very granular when it comes to the categories and subcategories. So, a fiction title is much more likely to be effective with Bookbub ads than a non-fiction title. And also, in the different lifespan of a book, I think Bookbub ads are better when the book is not at full price, because again, the mailing list of the people on the mailing list on Bookbub are used to having discounts, and quite heavy discounts sometimes. So a full price book is not, it's not the best idea to use Bookbub ads. So I would say discounted books and fiction, definitely.
Interesting. So 99 cents probably.
Yeah.
And have you found any good lists like BookBooks or Bookbub or any for kids books?
Not really. I haven't worked with a lot of children's authors. We've got a few clients, in the book, in the Amazon Ads agency part, but it's mixed results with those as well. So I think I'm not too familiar with the genre, but I think it's a tough nut to crack. Children's authors when it comes to marketing, because you're really marketing to the parents, if you think about it, because not unless they are young adults, but proper children and toddlers, and they're not buying books on Kindle. So you really need to go where the parents hang out and market your book. So it's difficult. It's a difficult genre.
Are there any genres that you guys don't touch with book ads?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we've had everything under the sun. We've had religious books. We've had, I mean, there is kind of a limitation, and that limitation is made by Amazon itself, because some books they actually do not accept when it comes to advertising. So, for example, erotica or some, specific covers with firearms or swear words, they wouldn't allow that. So there's nothing we can do. I mean, we can't appeal to Amazon for this. But apart from that, if it's within the terms and conditions by Amazon, it's okay with us.
Cool. All right. So, well, I'd like to go off topic just a little bit and get back to you. And who is your favorite author?
When it comes to fiction, I would say my favorite author is probably, and I know a lot of people are going to laugh now, but is probably Dan Brown.
Yeah. Well,
because I mean, and this goes back to the very, very old question: what makes a good book? A book that sells, or a book that is, actually artistically written? And in my opinion, a good book is a book I enjoy, and a book that, keeps me turning the pages, and Dan Brown books do that. So I enjoy him. I enjoy the genre in general. And when it comes to nonfiction, I'm a very, very avid reader of writing how-to books. So I've got stacks and stacks of those. But I also like, when it comes to nonfiction, I also enjoy Bill Bryson and his travel memoirs. And
I know. Yeah, I've heard of him.
And
he's an American in London or England, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his videos actually, and my wife loves him too. So very popular. So what is your favorite book of all time?
My favorite book of all time would be The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco.
Yeah, interesting indeed.
Which was also made in a very good movie with Sean Connery back in the 80s or 90s, I think. Yeah.
How old is the book?
Recommended. It's I think it was 1984 or 1985. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And there's actually going to be a TV series.
No. That might be bad though.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the actors looked quite promising, but I don't know. I think it's launching soon on Netflix. So see.
Okay.
But nothing is going to beat the book or the movie, the first movie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you've been around a lot, huh? You're making partnerships with the big guns in the industry, with your summits, and we didn't even talk about Authors Tech. Tell us about Authors Tech.
Yeah, Authors Tech was my personal project that I started when I basically when I started writing, and I wanted to have a platform that could, give me a chance to share what I learned through my own publishing journey. And I wanted something to be, kind of like a point of reference for authors. So in providing in-depth articles and specific guidance on, very specific things. And yeah, it's been going well. I've neglected it a bit recently because I've had so much to do with the Book Ads agency, but it's still alive, and nice. It's still one of my main projects.
Yeah, authorstech.com. And do you still offer coaching?
Yes, I do. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
There's a contact form on there. So if you need coaching on Amazon ads or any part of the publishing process, really, just reach out.
Yeah, it looks like a high quality website. And
Thank you.
authorstech.com. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, but I respect your time, and I see we're already over the 1 hour mark. So sounds like you're scaling up with the book ads, and so I have the exact same problem too. You know, when I have the blog, I have the podcast, I have my books, and I have to get back to my books sooner or later too. You know, so what do you wish you would have done sooner?
I know every author is going to say, I wish I started my email list earlier, because that is a kind of trend in the author community. But actually, I would say I wish I would have self-published earlier in general. So I wish I would have, taken the leap of faith to self-publish earlier than I could, because I'll admit it. The first time I've heard about self-publishing, I thought, that is for people who can't get a real publishing contract.
Did you ever try traditional?
Yeah, I mean, I've been published traditionally, but for academic papers and academic stuff, not for fiction or general nonfiction. But like I said, my initial idea was, if you're not good enough, then you self-publish. But that was one big mistake that I really regret, and that I wish I would have not made sooner.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I talk to a lot of people, and I'm in a lot of forums and stuff, and I know people that are published or by magazines, and a lot of I don't know if it's history. There's a genre. There's a niche out there. You're in Italy. You say niche, right?
Niche.
Yeah. And I don't know, in England, in America, it's up for grab. Niche. Riches and niche. But anyways, there's a genre out there, World War II. So there's a lot of experts writing reports, like history, but also, battles and stuff in these World War II online magazines. And also, academia and stuff. And you get a lot of that. Oh my God, I would never self-publish. What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, so I've met people. Yeah,
it's a bit of the old gatekeepers and the old it's kind of a snobbish culture around books that is changing, fortunately.
Well, maybe so the guys that are writing for these magazines, it might be a little bit different. They might have it a little cushier. They might be getting a bigger cut. I don't know. It seems like these online magazines and stuff like that are maybe better deal than the big 5 publishing houses. But that's okay. Let them think that, and we'll self-publish them, and we'll get 70% or more of our books.
Definitely.
So let's see. Okay, what is your number 1 tip for beginning authors?
My number 1 tip for beginning authors is, apart from the usual ones, don't give up, obviously. And the other one is learn and network as much as you can, and talk to as many people in the industry as you can and learn from them, because fortunately, the indie publishing community is probably the most open and transparent industry I've ever seen. So, you've got so many people who are already doing well and that can teach you, and, just reach out, ask, and learn as much as you can.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've heard, I hear that a lot. Network sooner. I wish I would have networked sooner. Okay, here's a trick question for you. What's your number 1 tip for intermediate or advanced authors?
My number 1 tip at the moment, and I know it sounds obvious said by me, but is learn advertising.
Okay. Yeah,
because it's going to be a requirement very, very soon, and the platforms are still not saturated. So I think you can make a good result if you try now.
Cool. Yeah, bookads.co.
Yeah.
I like that
That's
because
it.
all of my websites are also .co, so yeah.
That's because
So,
the .com was too expensive.
yeah. Yeah, well, it used to be you had, I don't know, for some reason people thought .com was better, but
Yeah,
that was actually, a lot of people thought it was bad because it meant commercial, and there was like this
commercial. Yeah,
negative thing to commercial. And so I think .co, or if you can get your own country like .us or .it, I think those are really good too. So,
yeah, definitely.
all right, Brian, what else? What do you want to, we're going to end it soon. What do you want to, where do you want people to reach you, or what should I ask you? What did we not say?
No, I would honestly have people, if they have a book and they're looking into advertising, bookads.co. And if they are looking for learning materials, and if they just want to network, we've got the Authors Tech platform. And another thing is, if you want to sign up for the mailing list, the waiting list for the next summit, indienovelistsummit.com. And I hope to see you soon.
Cool. When is the next summit?
Probably May or June. Haven't got specific dates
Okay,
yet.
so coming right up.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I look forward to it. Thanks so much for being here and offering your nuggets of wisdom. The Machiavelli.
Thanks.
I want to reserve you for another podcast. And
Great.
all right. Thanks again, Brian.
Thanks, Eric, and thanks, everyone.
Okay. Okay, my friends, if you like that podcast, then remember to go to zbooks.co and go get all the materials to start your authoring career. We have a 7-day challenge every week, so there's no excuse to not finish your book. And remember, please go to iTunes and upvote this podcast and Google Play. Okay, I look forward to seeing you at the top.